Hey everybody, welcome to the Todd and Erin daily stream. Still decompressing from the camping experience.
Decompressing means that there's piles of crap in our front hallway because we haven't managed to put anything away yet in the entire house.
Oh, it's really amazing.
Reeks of campfire scented laundry.
It's like when you get all the laundry together in a contained space like a house. It's like Bigfoot died, and no one found him for a week.
A lot like that.
But speaking of good food,
there were some really good things. We weren't, so that's not a real smooth transition.
You were cooking up a storm.
Are you patronizing me?
A little bit. Watch.
It's good.
More cool camping things. All right. So what do we have?
More cool camping things. There's an insight.
Does everyone have sunscreen on, by the way?
We do.
We
Okay.
do.
You
Okay,
want to show
we do.
them? Okay. First of all, this is a variation on my mom's Easter orange rolls, which are really super tasty. But so you're getting your basic cinnamon roll recipe, and I know there's people who hand make this, but if you're doing that while you're camping,
You're crazy.
just go live in Pinterest way, don't you? So we also have the oh so tasty cream cheese frosting, which will go on top. So you'll see these come in delightful little handy discs. You are just going to
It's
slice
a
the oranges.
puck of goodness.
Yep. So you just open up the oranges. You're going to slice it out. Todd's already used it for his breakfast beverage, the juice. And so you're going to put these little suckers in there. We'll put them on some foil, and everything goes to the fire.
Now, I know this is probably a silly question, but because we're camping and stuff,
Keep your hands away from that cream cheese.
did everyone wash their hands?
Yes.
You're liars.
No, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay, all right, good.
Dysentery when you're camping is
Okay.
not fun.
Okay, off to the fire now. Okay. Orange rolls. Let's go check. I think we're putting them on. Are we putting them on the fire?
We are. Zaki's finishing up the rest of the, what did you call them?
Good job.
Hogs in a sleeping bag over the
That's the other thing we did. Go ahead.
Okay, so these are the ones that we showed you, the yummy little cinnamon rolls. They are inside their orange cups. Now, I'm finding after doing the hogs in a sleeping bag over the coals pack, that it's easier if you cover the top of them and make it like a little more of a convection oven. So we're sticking there. Now, the nice little orange peels are going to protect them so they're not going to burn on the bottom. So we're going to check them about 15 minutes. This is over a slightly hotter part of the fire. So we'll see how they look in 15 minutes. The cream cheese frosting is waiting.
Yeah, no, it's not. Your daughter has it. I don't know where she is. All right, what are you guys up to?
Oh, this is the one I was most excited about because it has cream cheese frosting right now. Okay, this was the one where, remember, we hollowed out the orange halves and then we put the sweet rolls in. Now, the interesting thing about the cinnamon rolls, I tried some that were just flat out that I just did with foil, and they were all nasty and burned on the bottom. The thing is, they were also super dry. So what we're excited about, we're kind of hoping works out here, is that these will have that wonderful sort of like orange roll flavor that like your mom used to make at Easter, or maybe it's just my mom, I don't know. Do you want to try this first one?
I'm going to keep on frosting. You can start.
All right, Erin, it's up to you. What do you think?
That's freaking amazing.
Is it?
And now look, it's got little orange glaze on it.
Oh,
This is perfect. This is perfectly cooked, and it's really amazing.
so this is the kind you make and you don't share with anyone.
Precisely.
All right, and what do you call this?
Cinnamon roll, orange cinnamon roll, awesome. Zoe's orange cinnamon rolls.
No.
Okay. Mom's orange cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Cinnamon
There you go.
rolls you'll never share with anyone.
You got some. You got some frosting right there. All right. Thanks for all the help, guys. All right, back to the beautiful countryside
9 out of 10.
of southern Utah.
The Todd and Erin Daily Stream is brought to you by PC Laptops with desktops and laptops starting as low as $7.99 with a lifetime parts and service warranty. They fix phones too. Go to PCLaptops.com.
Now,
You've been a fan of these guys for a while, and when
I
you
have.
explained it to me, I went, that is so brilliant.
well, let me tell you first of all what was going on. First of all, the police were moving from one place to another.
Now, which
okay?
police?
The police from Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
They have a new facility and they needed to hire a mover. Now, a lot of times you just go in the yellow pages and go, well, Mayflower. Or
That's fine.
4 students or 2 guys in a truck. You know, you go through all the guys you've seen around town doing the moving stuff. And they said, let's do the other side. The other side, with the Other Side Academy, they have a moving service and they have all these trucks and they're set up down on 7th East
We
and
see them
South
bustling
Temple.
around all the time, yeah.
And they said, yeah, let's do that. Because there's a reason. Because some of the cops that were doing the move had arrested some of the movers.
Greeted each other by name.
They knew each other. The cops had put them in jail. these guys were ex-cons.
Explain the other side, because
The
it's an
Other Side
incredible
Academy.
thing.
This is so cool. So they're in there, they get in there, and they're like, what do I do? Now, some people study and some people take online stuff. Well, these people do vocational education with trade work, with cooking, with working with skills. They do the moving. They do all these different deals.
Because
and
when
they-
you come out of prison, it's very hard to find a job, and if you can't find a job, everything goes to pieces, and you're right back where you started. So
starting
they
from
take these people in.
Starting from scratch is really, really hard. But if you come out with experience, you have a much better chance of getting a great job and moving your life around.
Tons of
forward.
our friends have used Other Side. They're amazing. They also run a catering academy that they're teaching. They do all kinds of great reconstruction work. They have beautiful old houses they've been working on.
Here, time to make you cry.
This is very cool. Austin Nichols is one of the former ex-cons who now works with Other Side. And he said, it fills my soul. This is Austin Nichols. He said, service is something I've never really done in my life, and being able to give back to my community fills my soul. It makes me feel so good to finally be able to give something back without expecting something in return.
There you go.
That's gorgeous.
Student loans.
Well, it's funny. There's going to be billions of kids graduating over the next, well, not just kids. I mean, there was 3 69-year-olds graduating from Utah Valley University. But
Partay.
the important thing is this: a lot of graduations, and then everyone's like, let's look for a job, and oh my God, I have $100,000 in student loans. This
Wow.
isn't, student loans have gone up 20, what was it? It was something insane, just 22% in 1 year.
And the interest rate is not like, you think it's government, so you think, oh, it's
Not
like
so bad, no.
2%. No, no.
And I only had one really small one because I had a full ride scholarship, but I still remember how long it took to pay back, because when you're coming out, you're not getting top dollar. Well, here's the thing. There's a boatload of student loan debt forgiveness programs.
What?
There's $1.5 trillion in student loan debt, and there's reality is only about half of college students are going to be able to pay that back. If you're graduating today,
Really?
the chance is about 50-50 you're going to be able to pay that back. But there's 100 federal and state student loan based forgiveness programs, and they all have fairly specific requirements. But if you're good and you stick with it and you apply, the
Right.
chances are good. They were talking to one of the loan counselors who says, I sit here all day. He said, I thought I would have this flood of kids coming in, and what can you do? Can you help me? Can we get part of this reduced?
And
he says, people apparently don't know. He says, because I get maybe 1 or 2 applicants a day. He said, there's like a fraction of people who know this
Where do
is
they go?
available.
Where do they go? Where do
So
they go?
this is really simple. What you want to do is go to the Department of Education and the Institute of Student Loan Advisors. Go to either one of those websites.
One more
Department
time.
of Education.
Really slow.
Department of Education,
Right.
and then the Institute of Student Loan Advisors. If you go to either one of those, they'll have an entire crazy list, and you can go through them and see where you qualify, what you qualify for. You may not get 100% forgiveness. Maybe you'll get a reduction, maybe a reduction in your payments, whatever
So
it
is
is.
this like scholarships?
It's
but like
reversed.
post scholarships.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you went and did this, now you're a veterinarian, and I have put aside money for veterinarians getting out of veterinary school, and this will get rid of a certain amount of debt.
Yeah, there's a lot of different programs because there's also
brilliant.
different industries
I
where
didn't
they
know
really
that.
want them out and working. But it was funny when he just said, I sit here waiting for I thought I'd get a flood.
Yeah.
So truly only a fraction know. So you would be surprised what you qualify for. So I can tell a lot of parents right now are going, really?
Yeah.
We're going to look this up right now.
Parents?
Department of Education, Institute of Student Loan Advisors.
go.
Either one of those can set you up.
You know, things are really changing, and at BYU they just opened a bar, and you know, and I know you're thinking, no, Todd, but maybe I say it's only 3-2 beer, and no, Todd, it's another kind of bar.
There's a new lounge space they're putting next to Cougar Eat in the BYU store. They're serving campus milk with various flavor mix-ins. I didn't know you could flavor mix in
Caramel,
milk.
chocolate,
I guess.
vanilla,
And baked to-order
strawberry.
cookies. Baked to-order cookies. Let me rephrase this one more time. BYU now has a milk and cookie bar.
Hey,
They should.
let me buy you a chocolate milk. What do you think?
Nice. And they've got a whole bunch of reconstruction, but they'll be done by BYU Education Week in August. I think they're basically stealing from USU, I'm going to be honest. That's my mom's alma mater.
What's that?
Well, actually, my mom went to all of them, didn't she? They have the dairy up there at Utah State University.
Yeah.
And they have...
Oh, but they
this-
have milk your own cow.
No, they have a
bar.
massive dairy with all this incredible homemade ice cream.
Right.
And they serve brownies. Their best thing they do, homemade brownies, the best thing they do is peppermint ice cream with their brownie and then whipped cream on top. I've been going there to eat this for the
Totally
last
went off track here.
20 years.
Where are you? Come
The
back
important
to me.
thing is, I would like to point out the University of Utah does not have a milk and cookie bar like USU and BYU.
Since we're talking about farms, I'm stealing this story from you, by the way.
Tell me something good. This
Tell
is
me
wonderful.
something good. Nebraska. Now, a lot of times, farmers had a hard time. They're always going through a hard time. Always, they make their money once a year, and then they have to take out loans, and they have to pay them back once a year, and it goes and goes. And if you remember the horrific problem in the 80s with Farm Aid, Willie Nelson did this whole movement about getting the farmers back on track and helping them out. And they were just foreclosing on them, one
Especially
after
small
another.
farmers. The big factory farmers were
Yeah.
still doing a little better, but the small farmers, and this is their heritage, this was
Here's
the
the deal.
generations of families there.
Here's a dude named David. His family had 80 acres. Doesn't sound huge, does it? It's not. It's not huge.
But it
80
was their
acres,
livelihood.
though, it's everything they had. And like a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll sell their farm to a relative, and some close, some far away relatives, and keeping it in the family because of the money flow situation. Anyway, they found out that David's farm came up on the auction block, which means that relative that they didn't know that very well had defaulted on it, and then it came up for auction, and there it was on the block.
Everything they had was on the auction block.
So David's dad and his, they just scraped everything they had together, everything. And they went to the auction, and they went inside the building.
Is this going to be enough? It probably won't be enough.
Yeah.
It was
And
less than it was appraised.
200 people showed up, which is horrible if you're at an auction. You want like 12. You want 4. 200, they were like, we are so screwed here.
And this is their family farm.
So it came up, and they said, take a bid. Who's got a bid? Who's got a bid? And David and his father went and put money out there.
Everything we got.
Yep. And then they asked for more bids.
Auctioneers like, who's next? We've got this. Who's next? Do I hear this? Do I hear this? Do I hear this?
And
They heard nothing. Everybody in the room was part of the community. They knew David and his dad. They've known them for generations. They knew about their farm. They knew about everything they'd done. And the auctioneer kept hectoring the audience, going, what do I hear? What do I hear?
He took 3 breaks. 3 breaks.
You guys just compose yourself, have a potty break, come back, we'll try this again.
And there was no minimum, and they offered, what they had. No minimum. He had to sell it. It's the law.
Everything they had, yeah. Nobody would bid against them. Nobody would bid against them, and they got their farm back.
Oh my gosh.
And they were not expecting that.
That gets me every time.
That's because it's awesome.
All right, you've got.
Well, this is interesting. I was listening to a friend of mine the other day, and I really love her. And I know she loves her husband, but she said something, and I went, what? She goes, oh, don't even listen to him. He doesn't know. And I went, wow, that's incredibly invalidating. And I could tell he was embarrassed, but I think a lot of us sometimes do terminology that we may not realize is really degrading to somebody we love. And maybe it's familiarity or you're not thinking about it. But
Like what?
But they call it emotional invalidation, and there's 5 that are especially bad.
Uh-oh, don't say these words.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Okay. If you say that, you're not really listening. It's a non-apology. Someone says, this really hurt me. You go, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. You're basically saying, I don't really care. Think
Okay,
about
I
it. Where
could
do you
see.
go? Where do you go from that?
Sorry you feel that way. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Number 2, it's not worth getting upset about.
It is because you're already upset.
This person is hurt. The person
Right.
you love is hurt,
Right,
and they
right.
feel.
Okay.
And it also does like a value judgment, like this is your decision to feel bad, and you shouldn't. And that basically gives them nowhere to go.
Wow.
It's not about you. This is a sweeping generalization that essentially takes everything your spouse just said and negates it. It means that no matter what they might be feeling, they're really only just thinking about themselves.
And this works both ways.
Yeah, this is true. This is my favorite. Every woman's going to turn into a cobra right now. Hood flares. You're being crazy. This is another way of attributing legitimate feelings and turning them into irrational emotions. Todd is creeping out of the room.
I'm back.
I'm sorry, but really, essentially you're saying you're just emotionally imbalanced and those aren't real feelings. And here's another one that really, as a woman, makes me insane. You were there that day that I was on the lawn arguing with the 2 people from the State Board of Education after they had told me a lie and they told me to calm down.
Calm down.
It's another phrase that wipes out any rational cause for a person's emotions and puts it all down to irrationality. Now, they might actually have a valid reason to be upset, but if you tell them to calm down, it essentially says that's not for real. They said next time you're tempted to do that, take a step back and try to picture as the way that you can show empathy for them and help them kind of dial back so that you can talk together.
Okay.
So those are the 5 phrases of death when it comes to a relationship.
Put the pitchfork down. Give me the torch. Let's all talk about this. Got it. Okay. Here's something you don't know, and I'm about to say it, and I guarantee you don't know this. Did you know that India has a navy?
Why?
I think it's as a part of their pact with the protection of the area, and they've got to put up so much, and they've got 2.9
because their military is not a substantial. Okay, go on. So
$2.9 billion submarine.
they have a $3 billion
Atomic,
submarine.
Yeah, nuclear submarine.
Oh, is that one of the Soviet models?
No, it's India.
Well, I know, but they used the
No,
Soviet.
it's from India. They made
Okay.
it themselves. It's all shiny and it's got bells on it.
Okay, that's
Okay,
great.
so-
$3 billion nuclear submarine. This is awesome. Great. Okay.
Okay, so when they brought it in, they do some cleanup on it, and they do revamp some stuff and they kind of gear the thing
I would
up
imagine
and
there's
trick it out.
much celebration as someone who cuts the.
Well, this
ribbon
is
or-
they're
no.
doing maintenance on it
Okay.
at this point. They've already done the big celebration
Of our
and
$3 billion nuclear.
Bali launch, and now it's back and they're fixing some stuff up and making it cool.
Okay.
You have one job on a submarine. One job. They leave port. Everybody's like, hey, it's all fixed up. It's great. One job you have. And when the captain says, we must dive, you have to realize that you have how many jobs?
One job.
One job. And what is that job?
I'm assuming if you're going underwater, that would be to make sure that it's watertight.
Hatches.
Oh no.
They left a hatch open. Hatch. On a submarine.
They left a hatch open and they dove.
It poured into the engine compartment, and when you say poured, not like, hey, it's pouring outside. Think of the ocean under pressure.
The rage of the ocean.
Pouring into a
With water
4-foot
pressure.
opening, just gushing the
That's pretty much
thing.
the force of the Niagara Falls. Is pretty much what that is, right?
Yeah, so they saved it to a certain extent, and they got it to the surface. No one died, and they got it back to port, and there they put it to bed because it's over. They cannot fix it.
$3 billion.
Because all the cooling tubes that had gotten into and stuff like that carry coolant for the atomic process on
Did
board.
they have insurance on it? Maybe they had a policy.
Oh, call Allstate. You're in good hands. Except if you leave the friggin' door open. Anyway,
$3 billion nuclear submarine, and they didn't close the hatch.
some guy named Tim is in so much trouble.
I'm pretty sure Tim's dead now.
Probably so. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. What else is going on? We should tell them about.
Mother's Day giveaways coming up this week from Nothing But Cake. Stay with us.
All right, they're very good. We'll see you tomorrow on the Todd and Erin Daily Stream. One job. You had one job.
I'm back on $3 billion because
I'm still-
India's not a wealthy country, and
I'm
I'm like,
still back on the smell of that Yeti in the other room.
I guess I'm doing laundry.
I guess I'm cleaning out the trailer. See ya.
Okay, bye. $3 billion. Tim, did you close the hatch?